and welcome to the James Oliver Guitar Channel. And as you can see today we're in a different location and I've had many requests for this. So today we're going to talk about my rig rundown. What I use when I do a live gig. I used to do lots of live gigs, 4 or 5 gigs a week, you know. But obviously with the lockdown now I'm doing a bit of YouTube. But the gigs are starting to come back, you know, which is good news. So I'm just going to talk you through what I use personally, you know, when I'm playing a gig, whether it be in a pub, a club, a festival, a live music venue, weddings, funerals, you name it, we'll play it. So, first of all, I do use various different amps, but we're going to talk about the main amp I use, which is this, which is a Fender Deluxe Reverb. It's 22 watts. It's a completely stock one. I haven't changed nothing about it. It's probably my favourite amp that Fender ever made. I mean, it's just clean, it's twangy. So many people use these, you know, deluxe reverbs. I first saw Richard Thompson using one, which made me want one. So this is mine. It's a bog standard one. There is a little rip in the Tolex, but that's nothing. And for my settings, I always have the volume on, you know, to suit the venue. So normally a pub gig is on 3 or 4, it never goes past 5 because I don't want it to break up. But I normally have the treble on 6 and the bass on 5. I don't use any reverb at all, but if we do the Dick Dale tune Mizzaloo, I do use a little bit of reverb. So I'm just going to play you the amp now. Just, this is on 2 because obviously we're in the house. So this is my main sound, and I'm using the Vintera Telecaster, as you can see, with the Joe Barb and pickup in, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is just the main sound that I use, you know. So that's sort of the main sound I use as a basic sound for my effects, which is what we're going to talk about next. Now we're going to talk about my pedal board. And basically my pedal board consists of 3 pedals, which is a Boss TU3 tuner, a JHS Milkman, and a Timmy Overdrive. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to zoom into the pedals, and we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to give you a quick sound bite of the pedals I use. So, up first is the Boss TU3 tuner, which of course is the industry standard guitar tuner seen on millions of pedal boards all over the world. So I'm just going to tune my guitar with it now. You all know how they work. And up next is a great pedal by JHS called the JHS Milkman. There's a full channel video of the JHS. So this is a slapback I use. And then of course we've got the clean boost, which I can't do for too long because of the neighbours. And then as well as the echo pedal, I've got the Timmy Overdrive, which is a real nice rocky sort of overdrive, which I use for a lot of different sort of heavier solos when I'm playing the blues rock sort of stuff. So yeah, so they're the pedals on the board. These are the slides I use. Basically they're just Dunlop metal slides. Nothing, you know. So they're the Dunlop metal slides, and the reason I use metal ones basically because you put them on your amp, and if you're playing and they fall off, they don't break. Otherwise, I use Herco Flex 50s, made by the Herco company. They're quite flappy, which I like, because you can get that sort of thing, you know, and a nice racker because I like the way they feel when they're going down in your hand. So yeah, that's the plectrums. We've talked about the pedals. Sometimes I use a tremolo on the amp. The other 2 gigging amps I use were a Vox AC30 from 1962 and a Magnetone Twilighter, but we're going to talk about them in a separate video. And now we're going to talk about... So as you know, I'm a massive fan of the Telecaster, and there's a video on my channel talking about my Telecaster collection. So normally, I take 2 Telecasters on a gig, and that's all I take, and I use one as the main guitar, which I normally play all night, and then I use one as a backup. So I've made extensive videos about this, but this is my favourite Telecaster. It's a custom shop Danny Gatton, and I love the sound of the Joe Bardens. You know, you've heard the Joe Bardens many times on the channel. So this is probably my all-time favourite guitar that I own. Including all the second-hand ones, vintage ones, this is my favourite. So basically, when I do gigs, I use this, my Paisley Telecaster, or my 63 Telecaster. But my main #1 gigging guitar is this one. So, I love the sound of the Joe Barden pickups, as you know, and you've all seen this one before. This is my Fender Vintera Telecaster, and it's been modded a bit. It's got a Joe Barden Telecaster pickup in the bridge, which is the Danny Gatton one. So this guitar sounds very similar to that one, because obviously this is a bit of a road guitar, so if it gets beat up or knocked about, I'm not so much worried as I am with that one. So it's got the Joe Barden Danny Gatton, so I can do all my stinging Telecaster stuff. And in the bridge it's got a Lambertone PAF, which is obviously a PAF clone. So I just think, you know, you can have your stinging telly, you know, in the bridge, you've got a nice little jump blue sound in the middle, and then you've got your neck pickup. So I just feel this guitar covers every sound I need from a gig. And because I don't like carrying a lot of gear, because when you're doing lots of gigs, you've got no roadies, you don't like carrying a lot of gear, this is the main guitar. So basically, this is my setup: a deluxe reverb, the JHS Milkman and the Timmy, the tuner, this Vintera Telecaster, another Telecaster for spare, which could be the Paisley, the 63, the Danny Gatton. I've also got a classic player Telecaster Custom and a 70s original Telecaster Custom. So it's mainly tellies, and there's one more guitar I'd like to show you, which is what I call my rock and roll guitar. And as well as the Strats, I thought we'd talk about this. As well as the James Oliver band, which I play in, you know, all the time, I also play in 2 other projects. And the one other project is called the Hot Rods, which is like a 50s jive rock and roll band. So I always use this for the jive rock and roll band. It's a Gibson ES350 from 1956. It's all original bar the Bigsby, but it's period correct. And I use this for all you know, so they can do their jive into it, you know. It's not about the guitar playing and all that in that band. It's about making people dance. So this is the other guitar, and my other project is a project called Gibson Martin Fender, with Roneck Parrell and BJ Anders, who used to be in the Pirates with Mick Green, and we play pirate songs. So that's a little bit about me and my the music I do, and this is my rig rundown, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching the channel, I really appreciate it. Cheers.